second service. Yay! Okay, good.
I survived VIX.
You what?
I survived the Vista Invitational Field Tournament.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's a band tournament.
A band tournament? That's awesome. Who won?
I think it was Rancho Bueno Vista.
Oh, RBV?
Yeah.
What school do you go to?
Vista?
But I went to Vista.
Nice.
Dang, that is our enemy though, RBV won. Okay. Anyway, as soon as I got on this up here, this isn't the stage, but as soon as I walked in front of you, you probably had opinions come to mind. Anyone that sits right in front of you or stands right in front of you, you're gonna have a judgment about, whether you realize it or not. Anyone that's trying to gain your attention, you're gonna think something of them before even knowing them. Maybe I walked up here today and you're like, oh wait, is this a high schooler? Is this a student? Are they letting students speak now? But I'm not a high schooler. If you don't know, I'm the girls director. Or I walked up and you're like, oh, this might be a rough one. Like I've heard her speak before, like this might be rough. Or you're like, wait, I always like when a guy speaks. Those are little judgments. Those are little things that come quick to your head without even realizing it. And if you don't know, that's favoritism. And favoritism is a form of judgment when you base someone's value off of what they look like, not who they are. Because when you're looking at someone, you think you can figure out everything about them, but you can't. When I walked up here and you don't know me, maybe you're like, oh, maybe judgments came to your head. Maybe quick judgments came to your head. But if you do know me and you know who I am, maybe you thought different things. But it's favoritism. It's going to happen everywhere. And we do it without even realizing it. It's those quick things that come to your head without even realizing it. It's a subconscious thing that you don't even know that's happening. Because favoritism is when we make decisions based on someone's worth before we even know their story. Because you never know what's gone through someone's day. And you're just basing it off of what they look like. It's like that thing of don't judge a book by its cover. You guys have all heard that, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, okay? If you think about it, if all your thoughts you had to say out loud, do you think you would have people around you? No, I heard a lot of those. I think if all my thoughts I had to say out loud, I honestly don't know if I would have anyone around me. Because we're all judgmental. We all have judgmental thoughts without even realizing it. So that's what favoritism is. It's when you walk into a room and you look around and you're like, oh, you figure out who seems cool, who seems like they know what they're doing, who has people around them, and how do I hang out with them? Or maybe it's the opposite, and you walk in a room and realize, oh, that's someone I don't want to talk to. Or that's someone I'm trying to ignore. That person is alone. I hope they don't come and hang out with me and my friends. Or that person I look like I have nothing in common with. I don't want to talk to them. It's tiny mental choices we make without even thinking. It's who we talk to, who we ignore, or who we assume something about. And in James chapter 2, it straight up tells us to not show favoritism. That favoritism is a sin. So if you're taking notes, the title of this sermon is Don't Play Favorites. But the truth is God doesn't show favorites, so why do we? And we all do it. Even if you don't know it, we all do it. So today we're going to be talking about this favoritism, and we're going to be in James chapter 2. So if you guys want to flip there, and you can say preach once you get there. Preach? Okay. And if you guys don't know our series right now, Don't Be Fake, A Study in James, we've heard from Maddie, Parker, and Hayden, and they've all given us some advice from this book of James. So if you haven't, look at those sermons. They're on our YouTube. But, okay, I've heard enough preaches. So it's James chapter 2. We're going to be going to verses 1 through 9. It's a pretty big chunk of verses, so I hope you guys can follow along through it. But I think you'll get the main message once I read it. Okay, James chapter 2, verses 1 through 9. Here we go. My brothers and sisters, believers in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ, must not show favoritism. Suppose a man comes into your meeting wearing a gold ring and fine clothes, and a poor man in filthy old clothes also comes in. If you show special attention to the man wearing fine clothes and say, here's a good seat for you, but say to the poor man, you stand there or you sit on the floor by my feet. Have you not discriminated among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Listen, my dear brothers and sisters, has God not chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world to be rich in faith and to inherit the kingdom he promised those who love him? But if you have dishonored the poor, it is not the rich who are exploiting you, Are they not the ones who are dragging you into court? Are they not the ones who are blaspheming the noble name of them to whom you belong? If you really keep the royal law found in Scripture, love your neighbor as yourself, you are doing right. But if you show favoritism, you sin and are convicted by the law as lawbreakers. Okay, I hope you guys were able to follow along, but even if you weren't, I think you kind of can tell what the main message of these verses are. In the beginning, it literally just says you must not show favoritism. And then even the end, it says favoritism is a sin, and you should be convicted by it. James isn't sugarcoating anything here. He's calling it straight out. He's saying if you treat people differently based on what they look like, or what they do, or what they have, that's a sin. And that's not a light statement to make. That's pretty harsh and convicting. Whenever I hear something's a sin, it's like, oh geez, like, do I do that? Like, I don't even know if I do that or not. It's not a light thing to make, especially when he's saying it that straight up. So that means to listen to that, because he's being serious. And I want you guys to picture what he talked about in those middle verses, talking about a rich man and a poor man. If one person walked in here with maybe like some designer clothes, or maybe with big logos, or maybe someone with cool hair that's like freshly curled, or maybe it's someone that has the newest iPhone or the coolest shoes, everyone's head turns. They're like, oh, there's somebody. That'll grab attention. Whether they're trying to or not, that'll grab your attention. But if someone else walked in, maybe a little bit older clothes, maybe they're just like blank clothes, they're just like kind of basic, and maybe they're stained or torn or whatever. Or maybe they just don't have confidence. I feel like people try not to look at them. And why is that? Why is it someone based solely on their looks do we try not to look at them? We're trying to ignore them. We don't want to lock eye contact with them because we think, what, something's going to happen? That's what breaks God's heart. It's how you treat people differently based on what they look like, not who they are as a person. And I know some of us might be quick to say, oh, I'd never do that. When I first was looking into favoritism, I was like, wait, I didn't really understand what favoritism was until I realized it's the judgments that we all make, and we all do it. It's human nature. We're quick to judge without even realizing it. Before you even know someone, you're going to judge someone. Because we size people up before we even know their story. We decide who's in and who's out in about like 10 seconds. I mean, probably even when I walked in on this stage today, it's like anyone that's trying to grab your attention, you're going to judge them. Whether it's good thoughts or bad thoughts, or maybe you don't think it's mean, you're judging without even realizing it. But if we're followers of Jesus, and as followers of Jesus, we're supposed to see people differently, the way that God does. So what does that look like for us? And what does favoritism look like in our world today, and how can we fight it? In this sermon, or in this message, I'm going to be breaking down little sections of this, of how to fight favoritism, and how to realize you're in favoritism, and how to get out of it, and how to stop it, and start living the way that God has always wanted you to. So my first section is going to be about how favoritism is treating people by what they look like and not who they are. Favoritism is treating people by what they look like, not who they are. You walk into a class, or maybe it's a Wednesday night. As soon as you walk in, you kind of start rating people, or ranking people, rating people, I don't know, whatever you do. You walk in and you're kind of like, oh, who has the coolest things on? Who do I want to be around? Who looks confident? Or who looks like they're somebody? And how do I talk to them? That's favoritism. You're deciding someone's value before you even know their story. And we can call it comfort. We can say, oh, I just stick to my friends. I don't really know other people around here. I don't know that person that's sitting by themselves, so I'm not going to talk to them. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't have anything in common with them. But you're basing it solely on what they look like. You don't know their interests. You don't know what they can do. You don't know their heart. You're judging it solely based on what they look like, and what they're wearing, and how they're acting. But the truth is, comfort can sometimes be a cover for judgment without even realizing it. In James, favoritism was about the rich and the poor who had gold rings and nice clothes. But in our world, that might be different. The rich man might be someone that's in a friend group that you want to be in. Or maybe it's someone that has the confidence that you want to have. And the poor man, maybe it's someone that's new, or someone that just doesn't know anyone. Or maybe it's just someone that's having a bad day and you just saw them at the wrong time and you got the wrong impression of them. You never know. So who do we talk to first? Who do we avoid because it might feel awkward? Those are questions I hope you guys can ask yourself, because I think you would realize a lot from them and realize the things that you're probably doing wrong. And what excuses have you been making, and what is stopping you from reaching out to someone or inviting someone to sit with or talk with you and your friends? Because we make excuses for things every day, and we make judgments every single day. We probably go through like 100 judgments every single day without even realizing it. Because we think we're just choosing friends, but really we're just building walls. We use the excuse of comfort, we build walls without even realizing it. And that brings me to my second section of this message, is that we all do it. Even without realizing it, we're all doing it. Because favoritism and judgment isn't just someone that has everything can do. It's that every single one of us do it. You don't need to have everything to be judgmental. It's human nature. And we naturally gravitate towards people who make us feel comfortable, who get our jokes, and who make us look good. I mean, even now you might be thinking, oh, I have my friend group, and I haven't really felt like I needed anything else. But that feels kind of wrong. And you don't need anything else, but you just need to be able to reach out to someone. You could change someone's life, or you can impact someone so much. Or maybe you're sitting here and you're like, I am that person that feels alone. I feel like I don't have that group. I feel like I try to click with a group and it just doesn't work. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that people's comfort has hurt you or have left you out and that you feel alone. Because we all have people we click with and people we don't. That's normal. But favoritism crosses the line when we start treating people like they're less than because they don't fit into our circle. I mean, James is saying straight up in this that favoritism is a sin. You are going against God's heart. And that's a strong word. Because just because everyone does it doesn't mean it's harmless. Just because everyone does it means it's harmless. It just means it's hidden. I mean, you might be thinking that, oh, God doesn't even think that's a sin because everyone's doing it. He can't control everyone. He can. And he doesn't have favorites. So don't ignore that you're at fault for it, even if no one knows that you do it. And I talked about this a little bit, but this brings me to my third section, that favoritism breaks the heart of God. Because James isn't just giving social advice in this. He's saying favoritism messes with the message of Jesus. James says that favoritism is a sin. It's not just a bad habit. It's not just something everyone does. It's against the character of Jesus. Because God's not viewing things how we view things. He sees the whole story. We're just only seeing an image. Because God values faith, but the world values status. So which one are you following? Because Jesus hung out with people that everyone else avoided. He hung out with sinners and outcasts. The people who had nothing often had everything that mattered. And if you think about Jesus' disciples, they were fishermen, they were tax collectors, they were nobodies. And this is the main point, that if Jesus played favorites, the gospel wouldn't exist. If you think about it, Jesus didn't just die on the cross for his favorites. He died for everyone. And that's why we're here today. That's why we're able to do this and listen to these things and be stuck in favoritism and still be able to be a follower of Jesus. Still be able to have Jesus' love because of what Jesus did for us and because he didn't have favorites. Because we should be convicted. This is a sin, and we need to stop. Because what the world overlooks, God is going to value the most. And I know that might be a lot to think about, or maybe you do get it, but I wanted to give a visual example of this. And I want to use these two chairs. It's not about what the chairs, where they are. It's about what's going to go on them. Okay? So this chair, this one is going to say popular. Let's just say I think everyone knows what popular means. This is what everyone wants to be in a way. Or maybe it's not all the time, but sometimes. This is the person that kind of has everything, has the friends, who looks cool, has the confidence, has everything. And then this person, or this chair, is going to say overlooked. This might be the person that's new, or maybe it's a person no one knows, or maybe it's a person that's just quiet. Maybe they're a little bit awkward, or They just don't have anyone. And I want to say this before I continue, is that if you're already here and you're like, this is me, I feel like this chair, I feel left out. Even with my friends, I feel left out. I feel like I'm not seen. I don't feel like no one notices me. I want you to know that you are noticed by God even more. You are valued and you are loved and you are seen by God. And you're actually the person that Jesus would sit next to first. You're the person that Jesus would go to first, and that you're not any less noticeable than that person by God. He values you and he sees you and he loves you so much. And back to this person. This is some of us. This is a lot of us, let's be honest. A lot of us want to be this. A lot of us probably wish we could sit in this chair right now and kind of become this. That's like the easy answer. That's not what God wants us to do. We want to be around people that make us look good and make us feel good and make us look like that people don't even notice are going to think we're cool and think we have confidence. But James is challenging us. He's saying that faith doesn't play favorites. Jesus doesn't play favorites. God doesn't play favorites. And it's not about who looks like they belong. It's about helping everyone feel like they belong. Because when people pass you by, when you feel like people pass you by, God is always going to pull you close. And he's always going to be there for you. Because this world, it sucks. There's pain, and there's heartbreak, and there's loneliness. But with Jesus, there's not. So the question isn't which chair would I want to sit in, and who do I want to become? Because I think we know that answer. But I think the better question is, which chair should I sit next to? And which chair do you think Jesus would sit next to? If Jesus was in the room today, and you saw someone like this, and then you also saw someone like this, who do you think he would go to? Because I think you know the answer to that. Because favoritism is going to divide a room, but faith is going to fill every single chair. And I hope this is encouraging you to be an invitation, to have an impact on someone's life. Because I can think about a time that impacted my life greatly. When I was in 8th grade, I went to a school that every single one of my friends were at. All my friends, my church friends, my school friends, everyone. They were all in one place. It was my 8th grade year, so I went to Vita. In the beginning of the year, it was so fun. Like, every single lunch, like, I could go around to, like, multiple tables and, like, hang out with people. And then classes, I would always have someone to talk to. It didn't even feel like I was at school because I would always just be able to hang out with my friends. And I didn't take school that seriously. But I had so many people in those classes at that school. And then I started getting into some bad things. I started hanging out with the wrong people that led me down a bad path, and I got in a ton of trouble for something. It was so bad that my parents, when they found out, they woke me up. It was like a school day. They woke me up and just told me that, okay, this is your last day at Vita. You're going to come home and we're going to have a different school that you're going to. And I was like, wait, what? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, I was like, wait, you can do that? Like, I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. Like, are there even schools? This was like January. This was like in the middle of the school year. I was like, how do you even switch schools? I don't even know if you can do that. I'm like, where else would I go? I was like, that whole day I was just thinking of like, where else would they even put me in? Seriously, it was like no other friends at any other schools. It was all at Vita. And then when I came home, they had told me that, oh, we got you a spot at Coastal. If you guys know C-Track, and this is not hating on Coastal. For the ones that went there, like, it ended up being okay. That's really cool. But this is their middle school or whatever, their elementary school. I didn't know a single person there. I literally knew no one there. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't even know you could do that. And I was on C-Track, so it was like 2 days a week. It's like literally not even anything. It was like a Monday and a Friday. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the worst thing ever. Like, this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. But I couldn't not go. Like, I was already in trouble. I couldn't just be like, no, like, I swear I won't do it. It's like, it's too late. They already had taken me out of Vita. They had already put me into Coastal. It's like, I can't just not go to school. So my first day, I remember my mom dropped me off. And I didn't even have a phone because I'd gotten taken away. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't even have like a safety net. Like, that's like your safety thing. You can be like, Mom, like, pick me up, please. It was like, I didn't even have that. And I remember when I got out of the car, I was just like, okay, I'm going to try and make friends. I'm going to make this the best thing that I can, and I'm going to try and talk as much as I can in all my classes so I can have people around me. I was like, this will be fine. Like, it really is not the worst thing in the world. And then I went to all my classes. And my first one, I tried, like, talking to the people around me, like, hey, I'm new. Like, they did, like, the whole, like, new kid introduction. Like, this late in the school year, especially at a school like Coastal, you can tell anyone that's new. Like, let's be honest. And I remember I, like, tried to talk to people in that class. No one talked to me. They kind of just brushed me off. Like, I was trying as hard as I can, too. Like, a full, like, all my conversation skills at that age was going to the max. And no one talked to me. I went to, like, my 2 other classes before lunch that day, and it was like, I even tried to, like, listen to conversations to be like, oh, I can jump in. Like, this is the thing that we can have in common. Like, I'm going to try to listen so then, like, I can know what they're talking about and then try to bring and it just never worked. Anything I tried, no one would talk to me. And those classes are small. There's not that many people in them. Like, there's not a lot of people to be, like, avoiding. Like, you can really talk to everyone in those classes, but no one talked to me. And I remember when lunchtime came around, I was like, I don't even know where to go. Like, this is my first day. Like, no one has showed me anywhere. Like, I have nothing to do. Like, I don't know where to go. So I remember I just went to the bathroom. And I just sat there the entire lunch. Because I didn't even know what to do. I didn't even step outside. Like, I was just like, I don't know where to go. Like, I just need to go there. And I didn't even have a phone, so I couldn't even tell, like, what time I need to go out there. I think there was, like, a bell or something. I don't know. Maybe they come and get you. I don't even know. I can't remember. But I just sat there, and I was like, this is the loneliest feeling I have ever felt. When I know there's a school full of people out there. And it's not like I can say I didn't try. Like, I did try. It's just people. They just wouldn't try with me. And it's not like you can, like, I was like, I need to sneak out. Like, I need to get out of the school. Like, I need to, like, do something. But there was nothing. Like, there was nothing I could have done in that moment. It felt like there was nothing I could have done. And a couple more days went by that were similar to that. Hiding in the bathroom, whatever, eating lunch in the bathroom. Pretty lonely. And there was one day, it was like a weekend, and I tried to go to the bathroom and the doors were locked. And I was like, wait, what? Like, this is my safe place. This is where I'm supposed to be. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, do I have to go outside? Like, is there any other place I can go? Like, this is the place I was supposed to be going. This had become my safe place at this school. And so I had to go outside. There was really nowhere else to go. And when I went outside, all the tables were full. There was friend groups, whatever, people. There wasn't even, like, another person alone that I could, like, try to be like, hey, can I sit next to you? It was like everyone was, like, turned in. There was no opening for someone to sit there. It's like there's no spots. And I remember just sitting on the ground. No one else was sitting on the ground, but I was like, there's nowhere else to go for me. So, and I don't want to, like, ask someone to move. I had already done that so much in my classes, it felt like. So I just sat on the ground. I, like, leaned up against the wall. I was just sitting there. I was, like, eating, like, Cheez-Its or something. And I remember just, like, trying not to cry. I couldn't even go on my phone to, like, look distracted or, like, look like I was actually doing something. And I remember sitting there and being like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is the worst thing ever. And then I remember a girl came up to me. Eventually, a girl came up to me. And she's probably the most, like, straight up girl I'd ever met. Like, she was, like, very blunt, like, very just, like, straight to the point, which was cool. But I was just sitting there, she's like, you're new and you're sitting on the ground. And I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, I don't know, what do you want me to say? Like, where else am I supposed to go? She's like, do you want to hang out with me? And I was like, oh my goodness, like, I just made a friend. Like, I just made a friend. Or she made a friend with me. And then I see, like, 5 other of her friends come up behind her. I'm like, wait, like, I just made friends. Like, there's actually people that wanted to talk to me. And it was huge. Like, that was a huge impact on my life. Like, I had made friends. Then we, like, hung out. We, like, walked each other to classes. Like, we had gone and hung out after school. And it was cool. That year was all right because of those people that came up to me. And it didn't take me until, like, the end of that school year to realize what she did for me, I probably would have never done for her. If I had my friends at school, probably the friends that I had known for years, going to the same school, and I was having fun, comfortable, and then I see someone sitting on the floor alone, I have my friends. That's my comfort. I don't think I would go out of it. I don't think I would go up to someone that's by themselves and ask them to hang out. because I probably would have judged them based on just what they were doing. I probably would have seen someone sitting on the floor and be like, oh, no, there's a reason that she's by herself. There's probably a reason she's sitting there. But they didn't even know me. But then they still did it. Because favoritism divides a room, but faith is going to fill every chair. So remember that one invitation can have a huge impact on someone's life. Because that's what it looks like when you stop playing favorites. It can change someone's world. It can change someone's view. Because when you stop playing favorites, you're going to start playing your part in God's kingdom. So be a part of God's calling on your life. Play your part and don't play favorites. Because if one invitation can change a life, can change a person, imagine what you can do with that. Your one invitation can have a huge impact on someone's life. So take it. Use that. It's something that we forget that we are able to do, because I know every single one of you in this room are able to do that. And I want to talk about how we can fight favoritism, because I hope you guys now are convinced that you don't want to be picking favorites. So how to fight favoritism? I think we need to be seeing people the way that Jesus sees them. Because if Jesus were standing here today, or you can just ask yourself, how would he treat this person? Would he see a person sitting by himself and walk right past them and ignore them? Or would he sit down and listen, talk, invite, help them feel comfortable? What do you think he would do? And we need to be stepping out of our comfort zone. You could be the reason someone finally feels seen. And don't ignore that your comfort zone may just be you playing favorites. And number 3 is we need to ask God to show us the blind spots. I think I know a lot of you guys in this room, and I know a lot of you are really nice. You're really friendly. But I also know you probably have judgmental thoughts, and you probably have thought of favorites. And maybe you're sitting here and you're still like, I don't do this, like I don't really need to listen to this, like I guess this is good advice. You can't, okay, that's fine. But you can't really change anything if you don't admit it. If you don't realize your mistakes, if you don't realize what you're doing wrong, you're not going to be able to fix it. And if you want to be kingdom-minded, if you want to be like Jesus, you need to change. And you need to stop picking favorites. And we also need to realize that favoritism is not God's calling on your life. This is not God's calling on your life. Because he didn't have favorites, so why do we think we're able to? If the creator of the universe didn't have favorites, what makes us think we can do that? Because love doesn't look someone up or down. It's looking someone eye to eye. It's actually listening to them. It's actually having a conversation with them. And this point is one that I hope you guys can get something from. This last point is that there is no room for division in God's kingdom. This is huge. This point is huge. Because James doesn't just stop at favoritism. He's taking it a step further. He says the people that are poor in the eyes of the world are actually the rich in faith. The people that you probably don't give a second glance to, the people that you kind of don't know, those are the ones that are going to be rich in faith. And what he means by this is that if you're full of the world, if you only care about this, where's your faith? I don't know how you can have strong faith and be this at the same time. If you're seeking this, if you're only wanting this, I don't know if you're going to be rich in faith. So realize that. And be poor in the eyes of the world so you can be rich in faith. Because that means what the world is going to call less than, God is going to call chosen. Because we live in a world that ranks people by money, maybe even followers, or what they look like, status, grades, friend groups. And honestly, here in this room, I've seen favoritism in so many ways. I mean, if you think about it, sophomores only hang out with sophomores, freshmen only hang out with freshmen. That's division. That's invisible walls building. Or maybe it's the small groups will hang out with their small groups, or your small group will hang out with your small group. That's division right there. And you have so many chances to be different. There's so many chances here on a Wednesday night, a Saturday morning, or even at school. Even on those sports teams. Maybe it's the teams that it's only JV will hang out with JV, it's only varsity hang out with varsity, or it's only the good players hang out with the good players. There's so much division, but then there's also so many chances to be different, to be kingdom-minded. But instead, we slide back into our comfort zones. Without even realizing it, we're going back to our comfort, going back to the things that we know before we even realize that there's more that we could know. And I know that God's heart breaks to hear what we say about each other or see how we treat each other. Because like I said in the beginning, God knows everything. If he hears what you say about the person, whether you say it out loud or not, he's still seen it. He's still heard it. And his heart is breaking to know that's how you're talking about the person. And it could be the person sitting right next to you. Or it could be the person that you're going home with today. His heart's breaking. Because you can have everything and still feel empty, or you can have nothing and still be full of peace. But the difference is faith. And you don't want to forget that. So I hope this is your invitation to stop playing favorites. Because we've seen what favoritism looks like and how we judge people in seconds, or how we cluster with our comfort zones, or how even small divisions can break God's heart. But then we've also seen how Jesus treats people. How he notices the overlooked chair, or he notices the quiet person in the room that everyone else ignores. He values faith over status. And that's exactly how he calls us to live. And for NineTen, I hope there's no division here. For a place that is supposed to be all about Jesus, we tend to be nothing like him. And that's what's breaking his heart. So my challenge for you this week, it's something easy, it's something simple, it's something that you can actually do, and maybe you haven't realized that or not, but notice one person. Notice one person you normally wouldn't say hi to, include them in a conversation, or sit with them at lunch, or talk to them at youth group. That's it. It's just one small step that can change someone's life. And then you'll be starting to live the way that God has called you to from the beginning. You'll be choosing his way. His favoritism may divide a room, but faith is going to fill every chair. So who are you going to choose to sit next to this week? Or which one are you going to try to become? So don't be fake, and try not to play favorites. I'm going to pray for us, and then you guys can head out of here. Dear Lord, I pray for every single person in this room. I pray for the person that feels like that overlooked chair or feels like that popular chair, that they can just know that you love them so much and that their looks, their status, their whatever does not change how much you value them and how much you love them and how much you know them. I pray that we can lean on you in times where we try to go out of our comfort zone and it seems scary and it seems hard, but you're sitting there proud of us, of that faith that we are taking, and I hope that we can be rich in faith instead of poor in the eyes of the world. We love you so much. In your name, amen.